Huge cruise news. Carnival Cruise Line has opted into the CDC's cruise ship COVID program, and this is going to have some major changes coming up for your cruise. And in this video, we're going to give you those details. We're going to give them to you fast, and we're also going to share with you what the other cruise lines decided. Lots of information, and it's all coming up. Welcome to the Travel Scouts. My name is Jason and we are your cruise information channel. So subscribe if you love cruising. All right, this is a quick cruise news blast giving you 4 major changes to Carnival Cruise Line based upon their opting into the CDC COVID cruise ship program. We're also going to give you that information on other cruise lines and what they decided. Now, some of you will love the information, some of you will hate it. We're giving you the news, but we would definitely love for you to comment below. Let us know what you think, but let's get right into it. Number 1, Carnival Cruise Line has decided to opt in their cruise ships at the highly vaccinated level. And what this means is that 95% of their crew and passengers will be fully vaccinated, but they are not required to have the booster. Now, one very important note with that, on Carnival Cruise Line's website, they note that if the CDC at a future time changes their definition of fully vaccinated, then Carnival Cruise Line will do so as well, which means that the booster will be required. However, right now, it doesn't seem like that's something the CDC is going to do, because the difference between the highly vaccinated level within the cruise ship program and the standard of excellence level is that booster, right? If you require the booster, then you go to that standard of excellence. So it doesn't seem like that's something on the plate for the CDC right now. Now, some of you watching like us sail on other cruise lines as well, Royal, Norwegian, MSC, and others, and you may be wondering, what did they decide about opting in and at what level did they opt in? Well, the CDC has that information available. Let's take a look at that real quick on their website. When you look at the CDC website, on the page that has the ship color status, they have that dashboard, and there they note on it that all of the cruise ships have opted in. There is none that have opted out. And then when you look down below that, there's a little area that you can scroll through a spreadsheet. On the spreadsheet, it lists the individual cruise ships by name, and it also gives the ship vaccination status. This ship vaccination status column, that gives the level within the CDC cruise ship program that that cruise ship is currently operating at. So what have all the other cruise lines, what have they decided? Well, currently there is none that have opted in at the standard of excellence level requiring the booster shot. All of the cruise lines have opted in at the highly vaccinated level, with the exception of one cruise line, and that is MSC. MSC on the website, as of the time of this recording, they have 3 cruise ships that are currently listed at the not highly vaccinated level. So we're not sure if that's something that just hasn't been updated or something that's going to change here in the near future. But look, if that's something that interests you, maybe something to look more into with MSC. And if we get more information, we'll certainly share that with you. Number 2, children under the age of 5 are free to sail and don't have to worry about that vaccination. Now, Carnival Cruise Line gave 2 really important pieces of information with this. 1, children under the age of 5 that are not vaccinated are not required to get an exemption prior to sailing. And secondly, children under the age of 5 are not included in that 95% calculation of the total number of people vaccinated on board. They are completely left out of that number and percentage calculation. This is stated very clearly on the Carnival Cruise Line news release. It states that Carnival will continue to meet the standard of vaccinated cruises, but children under 5 years old will not be included in any vaccinated guest calculation and thus will not be required to receive an exemption to sail. But then one of the questions comes up as well, that's what Carnival's doing, but how does that line up with everything that the CDC has been saying about their program? Well, when you go to the CDC site, you notice this. When you look on the CDC's page with the technical instruction for that cruise ship program, at the very top it has a summary of recent changes. And it states the latest changes that clarification has been made that children under the age of 5 will not be counted when determining the percentage of passengers on board who are fully vaccinated or up to date with their COVID-19 vaccines. So it seems there's been some conversation behind the scenes with the cruise lines and with the CDC to try to get something that is more doable and agreeable between the two. All right, continuing on with the news, giving you the details you need, but giving it to you fast. Number 3, Carnival Cruise Line is going to be given some additional options for the pre-cruise COVID testing. They note in their news release that beginning on March the 1st, some additional flexibility in pre-cruise testing requirements will become available. And then they note that more information will be available on the Carnival website on the Have Fun, Be Safe page. And when you look there, they note that change and they highlight it in bold. It says, important note, effective March 1st, guests who are up to date with their vaccines, i.e. received a booster if eligible, may take their test within 3 days prior to their sailing. Now that's really big news. A lot of you have voiced to us the stress that it brings to try to get that test within the 2-day window, especially if you're traveling from a long distance to get to that cruise departure point. So if you're already boosted or you're planning to get boosted, you get an extra day. Number 4, and perhaps the biggest news in Carnival Cruise Line's news release, is that beginning on March 1st, masks, they're recommended, but they're not required. However, they do note that in certain venues and in certain events, they may require masking, so they ask everyone to make sure you follow the onboard signage, and of course they'll have people there to remind you as well. Additionally, masks may be required at some ports of call based upon the protocols that they have there. Now, a huge question that comes up with this is that's what Carnival says, but what does the CDC say? Well, this is another instance where it seems that there's some behind the scenes working between the CDC and the cruise lines to get something that's agreeable based upon current status of COVID-19. So when you go to the CDC's website, they changed their language, changed their wording on how all of this works. It says that for cruise ships that are at least 95% of the crew and 95% of the passengers are fully vaccinated, in a big word, or up to date with their COVID-19 vaccines. It doesn't say fully vaccinated and up to date, i.e. boosted. It says fully vaccinated or fully vaccinated and boosted. And then it goes on to say that cruise ship operators choosing to opt into CDC's COVID-19 program for cruise ships at their discretion may advise passengers and crew that they do not have to wear a mask in any areas. That is absolutely huge news, and the only other thing that the CDC states along those lines is that confirmation that 95% of crew and 95% of passengers are fully vaccinated or up to date with their COVID-19 vaccines must be made available to CDC upon request. Absolutely huge news. Now look, more information is going to be coming out very soon, so be sure you subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss the next video. But God bless all of you. Hope you have a super day. Thanks for watching.